Y'all want to do some chemistry? Let's do some chemistry. Specifically, I'm going to do the elephant's toothpaste demonstration. Elephant's toothpaste is a very popular chemistry demonstration. It's very flashy, it's very showy, it looks cool, and it's fun to do. And if you look for it, it's going to be all over YouTube. Even Smosh did a video on it, but I want to do it, and I've never actually seen anyone do an explanation of what is actually happening, so I'm also going to do that. But since we're doing chemistry, I'm going to get my safety gear on. Safety! But since I am doing actual chemistry here, I want to issue a disclaimer to not try to do what I'm about to do at home. I am an actual chemist, I know what I'm doing, I know how to be safe. For this reaction, I only need a few things. Hydrogen peroxide, potassium iodide, and finally, some dish soap. However, the reaction works better with 30% peroxide, and the highest I have is 15, so I need to concentrate it. I did this simply by pouring about 20 milliliters of peroxide into a small beaker and boiling off the excess water. Since the boiling point of hydrogen peroxide is well above that of water, this allows for the water to evaporate, leaving behind the hydrogen peroxide. After a few minutes, the water started boiling, and once the total volume was about half of what I started with, I took the beaker off the hot plate and set it aside to cool. The hydrogen peroxide should now be close to 30%. While the peroxide was cooling, I weighed out about 5 grams of potassium iodide and put it in a test tube. I then dissolved it in about 5 milliliters of distilled water. Potassium iodide has a rather high solubility, so 5 milliliters was more than enough to dissolve it all. Once the potassium iodide was dissolved, I was ready to begin the demonstration. I decided to perform the reaction in a volumetric flask because the narrow neck of the flask should help the reaction look a lot more interesting. I poured the hydrogen peroxide into the flask, then added in some of the soap and mixed them together. To get the reaction started, all I had to do was pour in the potassium iodide solution, but first, let me explain what's happening here. So, what is actually happening in this reaction? Well, hydrogen peroxide will naturally decompose into water and oxygen molecules. But this reaction can be catalyzed, or the rate of the reaction can be sped up, by adding iodide ions. That's what the potassium iodide is for. So what's actually happening at a molecular level is that an iodide ion is taking an oxygen atom away from a hydrogen peroxide molecule, which will leave behind a molecule of water and a hypoiodite anion. This hypoiodite ion will then go to another molecule of hydrogen peroxide and take away another oxygen atom, creating another molecule of water, a molecule of oxygen, and regenerating the iodide anion. The regeneration of the iodide ion is what makes it a catalyst. It is not consumed in the reaction. And so what makes the elephant's toothpaste demonstration fun is that if you add soap into the reaction mixture, it will be able to trap all the oxygen gas that is created very rapidly, resulting in a rather cool looking thing, which we are going to see right now.
That was the best that has ever worked. Holy f***. I've never gotten it to work that well.
Well, that was very fun. I've never actually gotten the reaction to work that well before. It's never shot up that violently with that much vigor before, and I'm so happy with that. It's always just kind of oozed up slowly and gone over the sides when I've tried to do it in the past. So I am very happy with the results of this. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making it. I'm so happy that the reaction turned out as good as it did, and I will hopefully see all of you next time.